Debate rages on about when to reopen our state's economy. Well, today the governor has signed onto an agreement with other Midwest states vowing to work together to reopen. On this map, we have listed when each state's current stay-at-home order goes through. And today, Wisconsin drastically extended its order through May 26th. Ohio's governor announced today, though, that his state will start reopening on May 1st. Here in Michigan, Republicans say they've got a plan to reopen. Political reporter Rick Alvin is live with what he's learning tonight. Rick.
Brian, I talked with the Senate Majority Leader earlier today, and they just announced this afternoon a plan. He says he agreed with the governor when she first put her stay home, stay safe order in place. He thought it was the right thing to do. But he says since then we've learned more data, more information about the disease, and he now thinks it's safe to reopen businesses. Not all of them, not all at once, but he says it can be done safely. And he also says he would do it regionally by giving places that have had fewer cases or perhaps haven't yet reached their peak, use their own experiences to decide exactly what they would do. A big protest in Lansing yesterday was just one big example of what we've seen as an outcropping of the way people feel. And Cherokee says he thought that was really spurred on by not knowing when you can go back to work, not knowing when businesses could be reopened again. And he says he thinks his plan will help.
This is all based on the premise that many businesses, even today, can design themselves in such a way that you're just as safe at home as you are at work. There are businesses across the state, this nation, and this world that have been demonstrating that throughout this insidious virus expansion.
Now, Cherokee says he thinks that there are some businesses that could be safe. He says that those businesses where people have little or no contact either while they are working or with people in the outside. He said people like those people who would mow your lawn or spray for insects. He said that would be some of the types of businesses that they might more quickly get back to work. He also says that he'll work with the rest of his caucus and with the House. Of course, they'll see if they can come up with recommendations. And then the real question is, will the governor go along with those recommendations? Though Cherokee says some of these could be in place as early as next week, something we'll be watching. Live from home, Rick Alvin, News 8.